This video will discuss a loop we did out of the Mudro entry point. We did approximately 41 miles that had 19 significant portages or 4.1 miles of portages. We did each portage twice, so that turned out to be about 12 miles of walking. We did the trip over 9 days, and we had 2 layover days, and we did a pretty casual pace, probably from around 9 to about 2 or 3 each day. You could do it much quicker. On our first day, we got to paddle on 4 legs: Mudro, sandpit, tin can Mike, and a horse. We had 4 portages and 2 really short portages because of low water on the river coming out of Mudro. While we had a lot of portages, they all were relatively easy. We camped that night at the mouth of the Horse River. Just an amazingly beautiful campsite. After a layover day, which included fresh walleye, we headed down the Horse River to Basswood Lake and then eventually Crooked Lake. We caught the Horse River at low flow. This meant that we could squeeze through one spot, then we had 2 spots where we could line the boats through, and then we had 3 portages. After the last portage, we paddled through a grass marsh for close to a mile before reaching Basswood Lake. A short paddle across Basswood Lake brought us to Basswood Falls. Very impressive set of falls with a short, steep, rocky portage on the Canadian side. Just downstream of Basswood Falls is a pictograph panel. My wife working hard. We camped that night at a small camp just before reaching Table Rock. We got out early on day 4 to get ahead of predicted thunderstorms. Storms were predicted to start at 2 p.m. We had no portages and a lot of open water paddling, and quite exciting times going across Thursday Bay. There were whitecaps, and I was a little too busy to record. We found a beautiful camp between Thursday and Friday Bay on a small island, and were able to set up camp just before the storm hit.
Come on, Helen. It could be worse.
The storms cleared and we were able to enjoy a beautiful sunset at this wonderful camp. We even decided that it was so nice that we were going to actually spend an extra day and did a layover day here at this spot. The layover day included fishing, and we had some really good walleye fishing.
I don't know how anybody could get this done on a travel day.
What's that?
Go out, catch fish, collect firewood, clean fish, cook fish, make fire.
Oof.
I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
On day 6, we paddled down Friday Bay to Chippewa Lake. We again had to get ahead of another storm that hit, which left us with a beautiful rainbow and a beautiful sunset. On day 7, we headed to Gun Lake. This meant going through a few small lakes, Nicky and Wagash lakes, on the way there, and 3 portages. One was pretty muddy, the 45 rod one was very steep, And then the last one was a 1 mile long, 300 rod portage. Luckily, that terrain was relatively easy. Our camp on Gun Lake, it's a little wind exposed, but it was just gorgeous. On day 8, we headed to Fourtown Lake. This required 3 portages. They're relatively short, but they're also relatively steep. We also paddled through Ferry and Boot Lakes. We finished entering Fourtown Lake. Our final campsite probably was one of our favorites, on a bluff with some great hammock spots. On our final day, we paddled out to Mudro from Fourtown through what's called the Billy Goat portages. These are very aptly named. They're very short, steep, very rocky. Feel like you need to be a billy goat to make your way through those.
Last big portage.
Bad portage.
Okay.
Bad portage.
Of course, we forgot because of low water, there were a few small, short portages in Mudro. So just basically carry your gear around, go right back in, and back on the water. And then the final carry out to our cars. A special thanks to Ely Outfitting Company who gave us this route.